Now let's welcome our next guest, Matthew Johnson, owner and president of Johnson Wealth and Income Management, a retirement income store located in Humboldt, Iowa, and also a very good friend of the income generation, and especially, perhaps more importantly, a very close friend of yours truly. Matthew, thanks so much for being here on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Dave.
So, okay, financial thought leaders. Whom do you admire as a financial thought leader? Talk to us about this.
Well, with regards to thought leader, I would say I have three icons in my world that have really impacted me. They're pretty old though. Andrew Carnegie is a thought leader to me. Just his passion to be able to grow his legacy and to be able to create jobs. He was a Scottish immigrant and he saw opportunities and he took those opportunities. John D. Rockefeller. It's interesting, John D. Rockefeller, obviously he's most known as being one of the wealthiest men in the world. At one time, he had a net worth of over in today's dollars, $65 billion. He had so much wealth that it was one representative of 1.9% of the total economy. It was huge. And I would say number three would have to be Henry Ford. What a visionary. He took something that he saw that was good and he made it even better.
So for you, a thought leader is somebody that gives you encouragement with innovation, but somebody who really tries to make the world better. It seems to be an overriding theme that's important to you when you put the label thought leader on that person's forehead.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How about more recently? If you can just take a minute and name a couple more, maybe more recent day thought leaders that people might know.
Sure. He's now passed, so I don't know that he's recent, but he's just recently passed, and that would be John Bogle, the founder of Vanguard. And John Bogle took something as important as investing, and he thought that there had to be a better, simpler, more cost-effective way of investing, and he created the index fund, which has changed the world of investing for so many different individuals. Another one that I really respect and look up to that I've personally learned so much from would be Robert Kiyosaki. What a wonderful educator, a man that really teaches people that money is a tool. And not only is it a tool, but it's something that can be a blessing to yourself, to your family, but only if it's used in the right way. And he teaches us that we use money in an incorrect way in this country. He wants money working
for him. The big secret is really using it to generate income, to generate cash flow.
Correct.
So we need to take a quick commercial break. Matthew, just hold on for a second. Stay with us, please. And you stay with us, too. We have more to come right here on The Income Generation. Now it's time to welcome back Matthew Johnson, good friend of the income generation, owner, president of Johnson Wealth and Income Management, a retirement income store right in Humboldt, Iowa. Thanks for sticking around.
You bet.
So, okay, the people you mentioned from yesteryear, those are all people that we'd call second tier. And they weren't really financial thought leaders, but they were business thought leaders. Carnegie, Rockefeller, Henry Ford. On the more recent ones, you've named people who are specifically financial thought leaders between Kiyosaki and John Bogle. John Bogle, of course, shined a light on fees and making excessive trades, and how making excessive trades, sometimes like the guy who's, you see him passing you out on the highway and he's changing lanes back and forth trying to get ahead. You get to the toll booth and he's behind you, right? That was John Bogle's theory. And of course, Robert Kiyosaki, who talks a lot about income, investing for income, for cash flow. Instead of being self-employed, being a business owner. So tell us more about specifically what you've taken away from those two more recent day thought leaders.
Well, first and foremost, we have to understand that in order to make the greatest amount of gain with your money, you want to be very conscientious of cost, right? So there's always all these middlemen, and there's always a cost for having middlemen. And John Bogle knew that investors were, number one, complicating their life. They were investing all of this hard-earned money that they'd worked all their life for. And unfortunately, a lot of the gains that they could have been making was being eaten up by all the cost and the fees and the commissions and all the other things. And so he was a very cost conscious, very frugal type of investor. And so instead of trying to overpay and underperform, he thought, well, what if we just go ahead and we try to create something that's low cost, that doesn't need to really make the wallets of the middlemen fat, and let's follow an index. And it's very, very effectively.
And right now, it's coming. A light was shined upon it through the Obama administration at the end of President Obama's presidency, where they try to shine a light on fees and 401ks and everything else. We've got 30 seconds left before a commercial break. Tell us about Robert Kiyosaki and why he's an important thought leader to you.
Robert is a wonderful man. He's learned a lot of lessons. He's a wealthy man, but he's gone broke, and he's learned a lot of lessons through all of those things. And he's taught us that our money needs to be constantly making us money. It needs to be working for us instead of us working for the money. And so what he does is he teaches people, or he helps re-educate the mind, that money is something of a tool to be used, to be invested, to create more income. Because if you have income, then you can live life without cannibalizing your principal. He also teaches.
He's also passionate with teaching children the right rules of finance at an early age, and that's pretty cool. We need to take another one of those pesky commercial breaks. Stay with us for a moment, please. You stay with us too. We'll be right back here with more coming up on the Income Generation in just a moment. And let's welcome back one last time our good friend Matthew Johnson from Humboldt, Iowa. Now, Matthew, you and I had the pleasure of attending together a 6-day Tony Robbins event. Of course, Tony Robbins is a thought leader, well-known thought leader in the areas of business and personal development. What did you get from him in the category of thought leading that you were able to put to use that you think our viewers might be able to benefit from?
So this is a 4-hour program, right? Okay. Just kidding.
You have to cram. Yeah, that's right. You have to cram 6 hours or 6 days into basically 2 minutes.
Okay, we'll try. So one of the biggest takeaways for me, and I know that every person experiences a little something different, but we have all these different issues in our life, and we have these things called symptoms, right? We don't understand why we do what we do. We don't understand why we have the things in our life that we do. And one of the things that he really does is he doesn't deal with the symptom. That's what therapists and psychologists and all the other things do. He actually drills deeper, and he asks you to really examine what your primary question is. And you see, all of us have a story. Every single one of us. We have a story about our money. We have a story about investing. We have a story about living life and what marriage is and what relationships are to be. And when we really examine our story, and we really examine why we have said to ourselves what we've said, now we're better able to understand why we do what we do and why we react the way that we do. And so he goes way deeper than those superficial things that are in your life to help you examine and understand why you have those things.
Yes, Tony Robbins says, change your story, change your life, right?
That's right.
So in the minute or so we have left, what are some of the stories, if you will, that you hear people come into your office every single day that you think hold them back from being financially successful? They're personal stories that need to be changed. Give us a couple examples.
Absolutely. So when it comes to finance and personal investing, one of the stories that I've had to deal with for the last 22, 23 years of my life is that the only place you can make money is in the stock market. That the stock market is a good inflation hedge. That you have to have at least $100,000 in the bank, or that you're going to have to work the rest of your life before you can feel comfortable that you're never going to run out of money. And if we really understand the stories, what I've come to find is that many of the stories that we live with every day are stories that we were told as children or that we adopted of others in our life. And so once a person comes in and we discover their story, then I can help them rewrite that story by understanding that the stock market is not the only place you can make money. You can retire at the age you want to, and you can do the things you want to do. You just have to rewrite how you think about money and investing.
And that's a great example of change your story, change your life.
Exactly.
People, yeah. Listen, we need to leave it there for now, Matthew. I wish we had more time. I really do. We're on a great topic here. Thanks so much for being part of the show as usual.
Thanks for having me.
And you stay with us also. We got more coming up here in just a moment, right here on The Income Generation.